Thank you all for your support. If you enjoy this podcast summary, please consider subscribing. Naval Ravikant's thoughts on happiness and success are quite nuanced. He believes that happiness is a complicated topic, and there are two paths to achieving it, either by getting what you want or by not wanting it in the first place. He cites the story of Diogenes, who lived in a barrel and was content with his simple life, as an example of the latter. Naval thinks that success is not necessarily the key to happiness, and that it's possible to be happy without being successful. However, he also believes that being happy can actually make you more successful, as it allows you to focus on bigger and more meaningful things. Naval's thoughts on suffering are also interesting. He believes that suffering is mostly mental anguish and that it's not necessary to suffer in order to achieve success. He thinks that people often attach their well-being and satisfaction to pain, rather than to the outcome of the pain. He also believes that it's possible to interpret challenges in a way that doesn't involve suffering, and that this can be a more effective way to achieve success. The conversation also touches on the topic of fame. Naval thinks that fame is not a worthwhile goal in and of itself, but rather a byproduct of doing something worthwhile. He believes that earned fame, such as that achieved through creating something valuable or helping others, is more meaningful than fame for fame's sake. He also thinks that people should be careful not to get trapped in the desire for fame, as it can lead to a kind of hall of mirrors where you're trying to impress people who don't care about you. Naval also discusses the importance of authenticity and being true to oneself. He believes that people can smell when someone is being disingenuous, and that it's better to be wrong and genuine than to be right and fake. He thinks that people should focus on creating value and helping others, rather than trying to impress others or achieve status. Naval talks about the limitations of status games. He believes that status is inherently limited and combative, and that it's not as valuable as wealth creation. He thinks that people should focus on creating value and wealth, rather than trying to achieve status, as it's a more positive sum game that can lead to concrete material returns. In terms of how to get less distracted by status games, Naval suggests that people should realize that status games don't matter as much as they used to. He believes that wealth creation is a more positive sum game that can lead to concrete material returns, and that people should focus on creating value and helping others rather than trying to achieve status. He also thinks that people should be careful not to get trapped in the desire for fame, as it can lead to a kind of hall of mirrors where you're trying to impress people who don't care about you. Naval's approach to life is rooted in what Chris Williamson calls holistic selfishness. Naval is unapologetically self-prioritizing, and he's not afraid to say no to things that don't align with his values or desires. He believes that everyone puts themselves first, but most people are just not honest about it. Naval's willingness to prioritize himself has allowed him to live a life that's truly authentic and fulfilling. One of the key ways Naval achieves this is by being ruthless about his time. He doesn't keep a schedule, and he only commits to things that he truly wants to do. He believes that people waste too much time on things that don't matter, and that life is too short to be spent on things that don't bring joy. Naval's approach to time is all about freedom and flexibility, and he's found that it's allowed him to be more productive and happy. Naval's also a big believer in the importance of inspiration. He believes that inspiration is perishable, and that it's essential to act on it immediately. For Naval, the key to success is not about being more efficient or productive, but about being more authentic and true to oneself. He believes that when you're doing something that feels like play, you'll be more successful and happy. He's found that the more he prioritizes his own happiness and freedom, the more successful he becomes. Naval's approach to life is not just about personal fulfillment, but also about scaling and growing. He believes that it's essential to be able to say no to things that don't align with your values or desires, and to be able to delete emails and text messages without flinching. One of the most important things Naval has learned is the importance of not registering emotional reactions to things. He believes that this is fundamental to achieving success and happiness, and that it's essential to be able to view your own mind and thoughts objectively. Naval's approach to life is not for everyone, but it's certainly inspiring. He's found that by prioritizing his own happiness and freedom, he's been able to live a life that's truly authentic and fulfilling. And he believes that anyone can achieve this level of success and happiness by being true to themselves and prioritizing their own desires and passions. Naval emphasizes the importance of being true to oneself and not trying to change others. He believes that people can't change others, but they can change their reaction to them. He also emphasizes the importance of trusting one's gut instinct and not overthinking decisions. When it comes to relationships, Naval believes that people should focus on the qualities that truly matter, such as kindness, trust, and a sense of connection. He suggests that people should not settle for second-best outcomes in their lives and should be willing to walk away from situations that are not good enough. Naval also shares his decision-making heuristics, which include taking the path that's more painful in the short term, choosing the option that will leave you more equanimous in the long term, and focusing on the three things that really matter in life: who you're with, what you're doing, and where you live. Naval's approach to wealth and philanthropy is also unique. He believes that the best use of money is to invest in oneself and create something new and valuable. He's currently working on a new business venture that he's self-funding and is excited about. Naval has a fascinating perspective on philosophy. He believes that any subject pursued deeply enough will eventually lead to philosophy. Mastery in anything will lead to being a philosopher, as you generalize the truths back out. Naval has changed his mind on several topics recently. He's less laissez-faire than he used to be on a societal level and believes that culture and religion are essential for humans. He thinks that pure libertarians get outcompeted and die because they can't coordinate. Naval's parenting style is also influenced by his desire to avoid being didactic. This approach encourages his kids to think for themselves and develop problem-solving skills. When his kids come to him with problems, Naval often plays dumb, encouraging them to think critically and find their own solutions. The conversation shifts to the topic of human nature and the culture war. Naval believes that the left has won earlier rounds of the culture war, but the battle is far from over. He thinks that the individual is becoming more powerful due to increased leverage, but this also creates a gap between the haves and have-nots. Naval argues that democracy is unstable and can lead to the tyranny of the majority, with a 51% vote to suppress the 49%. But he believes that physical power ultimately underpins all societal structures, and that those who have power will always try to maintain it. Naval also discusses the importance of agency and preserving individual freedom. He thinks that people should focus on things they can control and not get bogged down by news and events that are outside of their influence. The conversation turns to the topic of what historians will study in the future. Naval thinks that the state of modern medicine will be looked back upon as being in the dark ages. He believes that biology is still in its infancy, and that we need more experimentation and innovation in the field. Naval discusses the potential of GLP-1 analogs, a class of drugs that have shown remarkable benefits in weight loss, addiction, and anti-aging. He thinks that the body positivity movement is dead, and that people will increasingly turn to these drugs as a solution to their health problems. Naval believes that these medications will be in high demand, but the current medical system is not equipped to supply them efficiently. He thinks that politicians who tackle this issue will be rewarded for their efforts. The conversation turns to the negative reception of GLP-1 medications, with Naval suggesting that some people may be resistant to the idea because it challenges their status or identity. He believes that the benefits of these medications are so large that they will eventually spread like wildfire. Naval reflects on his own goals and aspirations, saying that he hopes to deliver something of value in the future. He believes that society should reward people who do good with status, and that this is a good compact between individuals and society. Ultimately, Naval's message is one of self-awareness, self-acceptance, and living in the present moment. He encourages people to be true to themselves, trust their instincts, and make decisions that align with their values and goals. By doing so, people can live more fulfilling and meaningful lives. Main learning from video die. Naval shares his thoughts on happiness, success, and suffering, emphasizing that happiness is a choice and that people often sacrifice their happiness in pursuit of success. He also discusses the importance of authenticity, self-awareness, and living in the present moment. Naval believes that people should focus on creating value and helping others, rather than trying to achieve status or fame. He also talks about the limitations of status games and the importance of being true to oneself. The conversation also touches on topics such as self-esteem, self-doubt, and the importance of taking care of oneself and one's tribe. Naval emphasizes the importance of attention as the real currency of life, and believes that society should reward people who do good with status. Overall, Naval's approach to life is rooted in what Chris Williamson calls holistic selfishness, where he prioritizes his own happiness and freedom while also creating value and helping others.
If you are interested to listen to complete 32-minute summary and unlock detailed insights for each topic discussed in the video, check out quick podcast summaries on Spotify and Apple Podcasts with free trial and later, just for the price of candy. Happy listening.